Has been strong all year.
Now, I got to ask you, this morning at 9 o'clock for the warm-up session, the seat in your car was empty. You were nowhere to be found. Can you tell us what happened?
Oh, the seat wasn't empty. Buddy Lazier was in here. He did a great job warming up the car for me, and I want to thank him for that. And we had a little problem this morning, but we'll make up for it in the race.
All right, a little extra pressure for this young man, very much in the spotlight. Now let's get back to that confrontation of last week as we go to Jan Beekes.
Gary, the other driver in question is, of course, Paul Tracy. Now, Robbie Gordon claims he was not overdriving in yellow, nor was he holding you up. I assume you see that differently.
Well, you know, there's always a difference of opinion when you get one driver from another. But, you know, I feel I was in the position to win the race. I was leading. He was being lapped, and it was a questionable call at best, I think. So, you know, we're professional drivers, and we don't need to get into a shouting match about it. But, you know, this is a different week, and that's water under the bridge. And hopefully we can do a good job this week, and it's not an issue.
Now tell me, you have been a driver that has also tried to keep from going a lap down, and you've also been a driver that's led a lot of races. What do you think the responsibilities are of each driver?
Well, I think it all depends. When you come up on a pack of people and you're racing with people, obviously, if you're in a position to where you're going to gain some position, I feel in that situation, Robbie wasn't racing anybody. He was 50 seconds behind Emerson. He wasn't in a race with anybody, and it was just only me, myself, and Al and him. And it was, you know, it's just a situation where I think the call could have gone either way, but, you know, it's just, it's water under the bridge now. We're here at New Hampshire.
Well, thank you, Paul. You know, there have also been other announcements since last race, and Gary Gerald has more on that.
Certainly another major story this last week coming out of Mid-Ohio, the announcement by Bobby Rahal and Carl Hogan that they won't be using the Honda power plant next season. Bobby, have you made a decision as to what power plant you will use, and when may an announcement be coming?
We haven't made the final decision, but we would hope to maybe announce something probably around Elkhart Lake, I think. You know, we want to take our time, obviously, and make sure we make the right choice.
We should also point out, Honda has said they're fully committed to IndyCar. They plan to be back in '95. The question now, what team will they be representing? Let's go back to Paul.
And those are just the stories leading into this race. But consider here 1 year ago. There are many feel that this was the best oval race in more than a decade. Tracy comes up to challenge Fittipaldi on the outside. They split around a slower car. Tracy comes into second place now. He dives for the lead alongside of Mansell, and Paul Tracy in a lap comes third to the lead.
It's not over yet. Look at Mansell. Quickly things change. Mansell saw an opportunity in traffic, sliced down the inside, and then suddenly got boxed in, and Tracy went to the outside. Look at the traffic jam here.
Mansell loses it, backs it down, catches the wall. That brings out the yellow, of course. Everybody gets by safely thus far, but it closed up the front of the field. The battle for second place. Nigel Mansell very definitely on the move as he attacks to the outside of Fittipaldi. Fittipaldi moves high to block him. Mansell comes down to the inside, and Nigel Mansell takes second place.
Look at this. Tracy protects that line. Mansell is right behind him again. Look at this.
Swings to the outside, Tracy down low. They dart in and out. They use the advantage of Stefan Johansson, and Mansell takes the lead. Heading for the third turn. Nigel Mansell makes the turn in. Tracy has little or no opportunity at this point. And here he comes. Happy 40th birthday, Nigel Mansell. The birthday win solidified Mansell's grip on the PPG Cup that eventually resulted in his championship. But it's 1994 and the players are back. Nigel Mansell, winless thus far in the season. Paul Tracy, denied victory a week ago, who has his eyes set on the PPG Cup, the symbol of the IndyCar Championship. The dominant power in the points fight is the current leader, Al Unser Jr., who today starts back in the pack as he searches for his second championship crown. To provide you with proven protection. Slick 50 automotive engine formula. Moving closer and closer to the start now of the Slick 5200 at New Hampshire International Speedway. Derek, at this point in the season, there are so many questions that need answers.
That's right, and as we watch Alonso Jr. seem to get a firmer grip on this championship as the season rolls on, it gives us a little bit of time to reflect on some of the unanswered questions flying around IndyCar at the moment. Number one, of course, is Honda. Where will they go, or who will partner them? Remember, if they have another development year, it will be difficult to convince a front-running team to partner Honda again next year. Moving on to number two, Nigel Mansell. His IndyCar career does seem to be over after one spectacular and one lackluster year. However, his contract to go back to Formula One is not yet signed, but we do believe it is imminent. Then there's Paul Tracy. Now, this is an interesting problem here because he is under contract with Roger Penske. However, it is doubtful if Penske will run 3 cars again next year. But Roger Penske does not want to lose touch with one of the finest talents in IndyCar racing at the moment, so he has a dilemma. Now, we do hear a rumor that Carl Haas already has a handshake deal with Paul Tracy for next year. Fourth man, question is Villeneuve. Will he stay? Will he go? Well, despite the presence of Peter Collins from Team Lotus of Formula One at his pit in Toronto, Villeneuve is already signed for a 3-year contract to remain with Barry Green in IndyCar racing. So that is just a sample of some of the questions flying around IndyCar racing at the moment.
So many great stories. I love the silly season, but let's get to the race now and take a look at the starting grid. On the pole is Emerson Fittipaldi, his first oval pole since the 90 Michigan 500. 0.2 of a second back is Raul Boesel for the 4th time this year. He starts on the front row as the command goes out to start the engines. In row 2 is Nigel Mansell with so many decisions ahead of him this year. And Paul Tracy, he led 130 laps here last year. In row 3, Mario Andretti, his most recent win came on an oval at Phoenix last year. And Dominic Dobson, this equals his best starting position for the year. Row 4, Teo 93 at Long Beach. And Adrian Fernandez, this is his best start ever on an oval. In row 5, Stefan Johansson, he finished 4th earlier this season at Phoenix. And Al Unser Jr., who started 1 position further back at Milwaukee, but still went on to win. The 6th row, Jacques Villeneuve, in his rookie season, he's finished in the top 10 7 times. And Jimmy Vasser, 2 of his top 5s this year have come on ovals. Robbie Gordon inside 7. He has finished in the points in all but 2 races this year. And Eddie Cheever, his best ever finish came on the 1-mile oval at Phoenix. In row 8, Mark Smith and Ari Luyendyk. The 9th row, Michael Andretti and Scott Sharp. Row 10, Bobby Rahal and Mike Groff. The 11th row, Hiro Matsushita and Marco Greco. Row 12, Scott Goodyear and Willie T. Ribbs. In the 13th row, Johnny Unser and Ross Bentley, and all alone in the last row is Mauricio Gugelmin. So now the cars are ready to roll away. The balloons are floating into the air, and we're ready for 200 miles of action at New Hampshire International. 5200, the IndyCar is rolling on the circuit here, and we are ready to go racing. Let's take a look at what's on the line here today. The race analysis here, 1.058 is the actual distance of this mile oval. 200 laps, race record, 133.621 miles an hour. Set, interestingly enough, by Bobby Rahal. First stops could come at 64 laps. Well, there's a problem with the weather here today. There is the threat of rain. When we were outside just a moment ago, you could feel the wind freshening. So that's going to play into the tactics of this race, too, and that'll just make it that much more interesting. Now, Raul Boesel starts on the outside of the front row. There was some controversy yesterday, Derek Daly, in that he actually went out 2 different times before he actually qualified, and that was a violation of the rules.
It was a violation, and it was a mix-up on Wally Dallenbach's behalf. When he allowed Boesel to take that second run, from then on he contravened the rule. Now, other owners could have protested and taken Raul's qualifying time away from him. However, Dallenbach did apologize for his indiscretion. Dick Simon made an impassioned plea to the owners to allow Boesel's qualifying time to stand. It was allowed to stand, and thankfully Boesel now is on the front row of the grid.
I like the decision. I think it is in the best interest of the race itself. So there is Raul. Plenty of onboard cameras here for you today as the field now begins to rotate off of the last turn. There's Bobby Rahal's nose cam as they pick up speed, looking back from Adrian Fernandez with Al Unser Jr. right behind him, on board with Michael Andretti. And And there is Robbie Gordon's camera. And here we come as look at Adrian Fernandez loses it on the start, and lots of people, including Gordon, get in trouble. So it's no start. It is a yellow. Adrian continues on down the pits.
And believe it or not, look at Robbie Gordon. He's undamaged, but he's backing down the front straight here, making sure he doesn't hit anything. Jacques Villeneuve and Arie Luyendyk are involved in the melee, though.
Villeneuve's got some real problems to the front of his car that may take him out of the race, but let's not be premature with that. There's Robbie Gordon sitting in his cockpit. This morning, it was alluded to early, Arie Luyendyk sitting against the wall with a lot of damage. Not hurt, he just can't believe it.
Villeneuve went absolutely head-on into the concrete wall, and that's why you see that resultant damage. But Gordon may have got away with it.
Here we go. Fernandez started it.
Adrian Fernandez clearly dropped the clutch, broke the rear wheels away, shot right across the racetrack, and believe it or not, has fully escaped as he comes down the escape road with the Budweiser car. Here's another angle here.
Oh, boy.
Luyendyk was an innocent bystander there. He got dragged in with Villeneuve. You could hear the impact as Villeneuve clouted the concrete wall.
Looking at it again, slow motion now. Again, watch the green and red car of Adrian Fernandez. His best starting position on an oval ever.
He's in 8th place. Villeneuve avoids him. He gathers up. Arie Luyendyk there. Villeneuve got 2 big hits, and it looked like Robbie Gordon actually took a simple avoiding action, and I believe he may have escaped any contact whatsoever. Look at Luyendyk.
Luyendyks' car with damage. Villeneuve already out of his car heavily damaged on the front end, so no start here. Yellow flies, the field circulates, and we'll be back with more from New Hampshire.
So big.
Watch for Robbie Gordon also.
Boy, it didn't take much, did it?
You could see the wheel, you could hear the wheels begin to spin and chirp.
Robbie Gordon's view.
Watch him hit Villeneuve. Robbie Gordon could not avoid Jacques Villeneuve and just plowed right into the back of him.
All right, let's go to the pits. Gary Gerald.
They got Gordon restarted. He took one very slow lap under yellow. He's come in, and now they're going to replace the nose, I think. Yeah, they're making tire changes, obviously. They're going to replace the nose, and then they'll get him back out. But the key here, as you mentioned, Paul, the race has started, so he has already lost ground to the leaders. Let's go to Jan Beekes.
We're standing by with Jacques Villeneuve. Now, Jacques, you took the hardest hit of anyone. First of all, are you okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine, definitely.
What happened from your eyes?
Well, Fernandez lost it and came across the track, so I slowed down not to hit him, and then I think Robbie was behind me, and he just hit me, and then there's nothing I could do.
Short day for you today. We'll see you soon. Back up in Canada again.
Well, we got some testing on Tuesday and Wednesday in Nazareth. But it's sad because the car was going really strong in the warm-up this morning, stronger than it had been the whole weekend, so it was looking good for the race.
Thank you, Jack.
Thanks.
Yeah, Forsyth Green Racing did have a good opportunity there. At least the good news, as we reported earlier, is that he will be back for at least another year, if not several. Let's go back as Robbie Gordon comes back in after a lap, checking that new nose. Let's